Good evening, guys. Thanks for coming. Bigger crowd than I thought there was going to be. So I'm one of these new guys that Steve was talking about. This is just my fifth gig tonight. So, 5 years ago, I found myself single after 25 years of marriage. Please don't feel sorry for me. It's the best thing I've ever done. However, have any of you tried to date these days? It is some shift. It's absolutely fucking brutal. And it's these wee millennials. I see a couple of wee millennials in the back row. That girl's from Stevenson because she was at the show here last night. It's the millennials that have ruined it for us. So when I was a boy, you went out with your pals, it was a splash of Paco Rabanne, and you went into the town, Fury Murray's, you never missed. And if you did strike out, you always went up Sucky Hall Street to the Savoy for the 2 o'clock bin rake. However, the millennials have ruined that. No, you either had a bird or you didn't. And if you saw a girl for the second date, that was then your girlfriend. But now it's, I'm seeing them, but I'm not going out with them. Maybe if you're blind, sorry Mikey, I could understand that. Or, I'm going out with him, but he's not my boyfriend. It's just an absolute lot of shite. It makes more sense than an SNP cabinet member's expense form. Remember the man Michael Matheson with his 11 grand iPad bill for one weekend, and it was his sons were watching football. Of fucking course it was. There was what he watched. There was balls, there was tackle, there was scoring. He maybe watched somebody getting pumped and then thought, well, it must be Celtic on a European night. And then there's the gravy boat, the gravy bus princess, where 20 grand a pip that she needs to pay back. So it certainly does give a new meaning to personal independence payment. Anyway, these wee millennials have absolutely ruined dating for us. So now it is Tinder. Have any of you done Tinder? It is soul destroying. It is the world's worst game, the fucking most saddest game. A deal or no deal, swipe left, swipe right, swipe left. And I'll tell you, the banker never gave me too many good fucking offers when I was on Tinder. So, thankfully, I'm off Tinder now, and I've met the love of my life, Diane, who's sitting over there. We shall come to her a wee bit later. These millennials as well, they've got talk all of their own. They talk about fit check. So I bet that's looking at your outfit. To me, a fit check is when you go to your diabetic podiatrist for your yearly update. Or they talk about clapback. I still don't know what clapback is, but to me that's revenge sex. I take it most of you here are from Ayrshire.
No, Wishaw.
Oh, you're from Wishaw, good man. You don't look like Wishaw, you must be from Branshaw. No, you're not from Westwood Road. The honky, even the honky. You're from the honky. Yeah. You're pretty off that you made me like. Courtness.
If you got this? That's it.
So I stay in Mosque Crescent. So there you go. Yeah, wait, so these millennials got their own speech. You guys for Ayrshire have got your own speech as well. So Diane's for a place that was made famous by podcaster, wrestler, comedian Grado, the tap end of Stevenson. Yes! You're a big man up the back. So one time Diane told me we were right along, she says, it's Bochankin. So I thought she was introducing me to somebody that she was at school with. I thought that's one fucking unfortunate nickname. Maybe just had a big hernia or something when he was at school. Anyway, again, these millennials, so great, who's that wee thing? Greeting Thunberg, is it? Is it Greeting Thunberg? Greeting, no, it's definitely Greeting. And you have stolen my childhood, you have stolen my freedom, how dare you? Well, millennials, you stole something from my childhood, and there they are, fucking Adidas Samba. Whoa. Adidas Samba started off as football boots, then they became terrace wear. They come in one colour scheme, and that's them, they're black and white. They don't come in neon pink and lime green. You have not stood in the terraces, you have not worn a Sergio Tacchini polo shirt, so how fucking dare you? Anyway, back to Diane, she's been looking forward to this part. So Diane and I had actually known each other for 20 years. We'd worked together, a couple of things put us off going on a few dates, and that was mainly that she had a wedding ring, and the other part was that I had a wedding ring as well. But we got together 20 years later, about 8 months ago, we went on our first date. She got out of the car, and I'll tell you, it wasn't just my fucking arteries that had hardened in my middle ages. It wasn't just my arteries that had hardened in my... That's right. I thought you asked to repeat.
It was funny a second time.
So we got engaged about 5 weeks ago. We went into Glasgow, as you do, Argyle Arcade, Buchanan Street. Eddie's been in Glasgow recently. Buchanan Street's an absolute fucking nightmare. Every 2 yards, any spare change. You get a price of a cup of tea. I'm cold, I'm hungry. I says, Diane, can you fucking shut up and just look at engagement rings, please? So as I say, Diane lives in the top end. I've moved Diane to Wishaw with me. So saying that you've moved Diane from Stevenson to Wishaw is like saying that Diane was getting held captive by Joseph Fritzl and you rescued her and took her to Fred Rose West for safeguarding.
That's Lebanon to God knows where.
So Diane won an award a couple of years ago. She was the most glamorous granny. She's a granny. She was the most glamorous granny in Stevenson, the top end, which is a big claim because there's a lot of 20 and 30-year-old girls that were vying for the same competition. So Stevenson, Diane's got a cracking big bouncy pair of Labrador dogs. And we used to take them a walk along Ardeer Beach. Then you know Ardeer Beach at all. So Ardeer Beach, you guys for Stevenson will know, is the only official nuddy beach in the southwest of Scotland. Now, why the fuck would you want a nuddy beach in the southwest of Scotland? We have 2 seasons. We have July and winter. So I had a few years ago on a holiday in Gran Canaria, I happened upon a nudie beach. So do you think it's Playboy models and bronzed Adonises? Absolutely fucking not. It's wee old women with skin like a Sharpie dog. And these wee old men with tiny wee purple bobies. They've got the sea here and they walk into the sea, but then they turn in and face you. Now if my bobby was that wee and that purple, sorry. If my bobby was that purple, then I would be standing faces and showing it off to everybody. Anyway, we were walking along Ardeer Beach one day. This wee guy comes up to us. Nice wee guy, naked as the day was born. I decided I would go al fresco as well because I thought, well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Stevenson, do as the... What's it about me? Simpletons, is it? When in Stevenson, do as the simpletons do. So I thought, I'll give the undercarriage a wee bit in here. And this wee guy came up, he had the biggest thatch of pubes you've ever seen. A 1970s German porn star would have said, that's some fucking pubes you've got there. Osama bin Bobby. It actually looks as if somebody was sucking off, Jimi Hendrix was sucking somebody off. So, anyway, it was a nice guy came over and he said, listen big, you see if you're going to wear that see-through mankini, at least fucking iron it first and maybe take a wee lint roller over it. So he had a wee hairy dog, he was a dog walking himself and he says, would you like to stroke my cock or poo? And now I'm wishing I'd went for a shit in the sand dunes. The court case is next Tuesday, wish me luck and thank you.